Oh, righto, we are back again for another week. Thoroughbreds, welcome to this week's podcast of Penalty Broncos. We are the number one Broncos podcast that we listen to. I am not coming to you from the bandwagon bar tonight. I am out of town, I guess you could say, back down in God's country in Brisbane for a little bit. We do have Ringer. We do have Langers online coming across the state. Ringer, how's your week been, mate? What have you been up to?
Yeah, Brito, same old, mate. I've been travelling around the countryside in my council role this week. So been down into the central and southwest of this great state, right down into the desert there, mates. No, it was a good couple of days down there. One sad thing I learnt, mate, that if anyone's a good Bundy rum drinker, the tax on Bundy rum this week just hit $38.40 for a bottle of rum. So, get around that petition that's getting around on their pages. Pretty incredible, I thought. But anyway, no, it's been pretty good, mate. Glad to be back home after all that driving around. It's a long way from anywhere out here, as you know. So to go from here to Windora to Longreach and back again, there's not a small effort. So glad to be home, mate. Good to see some rugby league back on the screens. How good was it? Watch a bit of footy over in Vegas there and sort of catch up with all of that content. But yeah, mate, been so good. How about yourself?
Yeah, good. Bloody certainly got to pack a cut lunch, that's for sure, to get around anywhere out there. Mate, I've done a bit of trekking on the Spirit of Queensland this week. We looked at the plane prices, and then we looked at the train prices, and for half of what the plane costs, we could get down here, get an hire car and whatnot. So the little kids and I jumped on the train and did an overnight trip down from Townsville down to Brisbane. It was a pretty good experience, and we're going to do it all back again tomorrow. So should be fun. Should be fun for that. Other than that, I haven't really got much to report. Got invited to be the godparents of a beautiful little boy down here. So had the ceremony today and whatnot, and that was a really good experience. Good to catch
Congrats.
up.
Yeah, nice.
Cheers, mate.
Nice work,
Cheers.
mate.
Langers, what about you, mate? How was your week?
My week was interesting, I guess you can say, mate. Yeah, we had our compliance week this week, so just getting all of our gear retested every 3 and 6 months, depending on what it is. So slings, chain jacks, electrical equipment, all that sort of stuff. So doing odd jobs, obviously, around the state as well. And then just had a little bit of a earthquake in Townsville. Yeah, like if you're a conspiracy theorist thoroughbred, then I reckon you do have a little bit of a cause to throw up that conspiracy theory, because it didn't really feel like an earthquake. Like the earthquake, Richter's, whatever you want to call it, the sensors, they obviously got triggered, but yeah, it definitely didn't feel like an earthquake. So yeah, I'm talking alien invasion if you are. No.
Get the tinfoil hat quick.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
This
alfoil's at an
podcast is
all-time
not
low.
going to talk about football at all. We're going to talk about what the fuck hit Townsville.
Yeah, exactly right. So no, but apart from that, no, it's all good. The child decided to bring home yet another daycare bug, so that's going to be great in a few days. You can already feel that starting to come on. So yeah, can't wait for that to hit with a full force. So yeah, no, but apart from that, mate, just great to wrap around some footy. Just good to see. Unfortunately, we had to watch the Panthers win again, which was less than ideal, but that's the way the cookie crumbles for the last few years, isn't it?
Yeah, fuck them guys. I did see I seen a couple of home security cameras with that footage of the earthquake, and yeah, she's a bit of a crack. I reckon an AJ might have accidentally dropped the fucking warhead out of the back of a truck behind Mount Stewart there, maybe.
Yeah, that's it.
Anyway, we will move on to a bit of waterhole waffle, and we'll rip the Band-Aid off. During the week, Mr. Ezra Mann faced questions from the media for the first time since that infamous incident last year. He did do a bit of a spiel after the court case sort of was all over, but it was more of a statement. He didn't field any questions and whatnot. But this time he was front and face with the cameras. He got hit with the, what was your drug use like prior to this incident or leading up to it? What was going through your head that led you to get into the vehicle? All the questions that basically the thoroughbreds out there have been asking ever since the incident happened. Very, I guess, very canvas questions as well. I would say that certain journalists weren't invited for certain reasons or whatnot, and Ezra would have had some training in the background for it leading up to it. We all know he's usually a shy guy in front of the cameras, so that would have been pretty tough for him. Now, he did say, though, that he's grateful, and I'll paraphrase here, I am grateful that I did get the opportunity to keep going with the Brisbane Broncos, and no doubt I want to repay the Broncos for giving me a second chance. I think that it was a very real possibility that him getting sacked was on the cards. I think that's a big takeaway from this, that it wasn't that the club protected him and kept him and all that. Yeah, sure, they did do that, but it was a decision to do that. They could have gone one of two ways. We rip his contract up, piss him off, or we take him, we nurture him, blah, blah, blah. The cynic out there is always going to say, well, how valuable is he to the team? Of course, that's the option you're going to take. And we didn't know that we were getting Ben Hunt at the time either. So that would have played into that decision. But in my honest, humble opinion, I think that Ezra, probably before the incident, was a very, how would you say, irresponsible person, maybe a bit too relaxed, maybe, thought he was a bit untouchable. I think now the new Ezra that we're seeing is very remorseful, understands his position, understand what could have gone wrong, and what could have been the result of that. And I hope to see him in round 10 or maybe a bit after that, or, even in the Q Cup and killing it. And I hope he gets back. I hope he does repay us, because I'll certainly stick my neck out and, kind of stand by him as a Broncos player sort of thing. So he did do a bad thing, but hopefully his actions moving forward show that he's sort of learnt the lesson and whatnot. Ringer, what do you reckon, mate? What's your thoughts on the whole interview?
Yeah, mate, it was, like you said, it was pretty vetted, I would say, question-wise, but it was good to see. I think it was good to see Ezra. I don't think he's faking his remorse, if you know what I mean. I think he's genuinely remorseful for what he done. That doesn't take away from what happened, obviously, but, there's a big difference between someone being a cocky dickhead after something like this happened and someone that actually looks like they've been humbled and absolutely regret their decision. I want to see that, though, right through the sentence. Like, I don't want to see one iota of brash, overconfidence, whatever, in the social media and media before his ban's over, probably for a couple of years, to be honest. Ezra has a real opportunity now to become a mentor and someone for people to look up to that have been in that situation where, things do go wrong every day. We all know it does happen, and we all have mates that have probably gone through similar things. It's about how they pick themselves back up and how they present themselves. So I hope Ezra really takes that opportunity. I thought it was interesting too that he said, I'm really keen to repay the Broncos for giving me a second chance, which, yeah, like you said, may suggest that, I don't know initially, but maybe in the negotiations with Ben Hunt, they were talking to Ezra about, mate, there's a possibility if we land this fella, we're going to eject you off our salary cap because we can't put up with this. So I think that, that might be what the second chance sort of thing was about. And also, I hope for Ezra's sake, he may surround himself with some better mates and family. I would because like we said ages ago when all this first came out, he's a very young professional rugby league player about to move house, and no one he knew could give him a lift to go around and do what he had to do. Maybe he's a big dead shit, and that's what he just did that off his own back, and someone was telling him not to. But I mean, I think he needs some good people around him to really sort of help him out through that situation, because I don't know, if Langer's got on the bloody Colombian marching powder and we were there moving his house and he's like, I'm going to drive around there. And we'd be like, bro, no, we'll either drive you or you're going to get an Uber. You know what I mean? So you just hope he gets those sort of people in his life now. Takeaways for me, mate, I think he's genuinely remorseful, and I think it could be a point for him to prove that he has to get back into this team through his merit and his actions, and like it might make him a better person. Like people fuck up, mate. And rugby league's absolutely littered with fuck ups that come good. So, we hope that's a good story coming out of this.
No, 100%. And I always like to throw it back to everyone who's sort of like, oh, I can't believe they did that. Like, how dumb are you got to be? Guys, remember when you were at high school and the people that were really good at football, that's these same people, but now they have lots of money. Like, you got to understand that, like, like it's very rare. And like, this is no offense to any of the players. Like, you're a footy player. Like, that's what you've put your entire life into. You're not putting your life into your academics. You're not putting all the effort into everything else in your world. You're just focused on footy. And like very smart on footy. Like you got to run the plays. You got to remember where you got to be in the all that sort of stuff. And that's why you look at the college guys that play NFL over in America, how they remember that thick book of plays on game day. Like they've got the brains there, but you got to remember as well they're not overly smart in other places. So you got to throw it back to that. Well, and obviously
traditionally, mate, the blokes that are playing rugby league now used to be the ones that used to go and hurl fucking swords and shit at each other back in the day. So, not everyone's building bridges. Some people have got to defend the fucking country. So, everyone's good at something.
Yeah, that's it. What about you, Langers, mate? What's your thoughts on the whole interview?
I think if I'm going to move house, I'm definitely going to invite Ringer because the picture that he just painted sounds pretty delightful to me.
You get on the marching paper and we just move you, mate.
You move this house. I'm just going to go down the Colombian marching powder route. No, don't do drugs, thoroughbreds. It's not good. You'll end up crashing into an Uber. Look, I think his job was on the line, to be honest. And that might have not have even been a Broncos decision. That might have been an NRL decision going, we're going to make an example out of you. You're gone sort of thing. And it would have been taken out of the Broncos' hands. So, I definitely think his job was on the line, regardless of whether Ben Hunt was, going to come or not. I did think that if the Broncos did let him go, then they would have lost. You know what I mean? Like, most of the teams are screaming for an Ezra man. So he would have got fired from the Broncos and he would have just walked into another club tomorrow, So the only people that would have lost out of that are the Broncos. So it is good that they've kept him, and it's good that he has that mentality around that, I'm in debt to you now. I need to repay you. So that is a good mentality. Like you lads have just said, like he's a young fella. Hopefully he is surrounded by a lot better sort of personalities and influence now. He is remorseful, and hopefully he, this is an isolated event and he doesn't do it again. If he does do it again, I think he'll probably just be gone. He'll be, first and final warning sort of thing.
Yeah.
It is a bit of a tough one to sort of talk about, because he is young, but it's not an excuse. You know what I mean? Like there is no excuse for those sort of actions. So, and fronting the media and going, how often were you using drugs in the lead up to the crash? And his answer was, probably not going to touch on that at this point in time. That's in the past. It's a good enough answer, but I feel like maybe the nation deserves a little bit more of an answer. Like, what were you doing, bud? Like, was this an isolated event, or have you been up in the drugs, something fierce, and, it's a bigger problem sort of thing? But, he went to rehab, he did all those things. He seems to have done all the right things and everything that's been asked of him since the incident. He did say in that interview that for legal reasons, he wasn't allowed to, reach out to the victims, but as soon as he was allowed to, he did. Which is obviously, that's nice. That's, it's good behavior to see. It's, it's acceptable behavior. It's standard behavior, to be honest. But no, it is good that he's done that. And like you lads have said, hopefully he's learned his lesson and we can just, focus on it, and he can focus on the future ahead. And hopefully he doesn't have a spot to come back to in round 10, because the Broncos are just absolutely fucking killing it. And he can go back to the Logan Magpies and tear it up there until the Broncos need him again. So, yeah, hopefully it's all in the past and everybody's, recovered and healed and whatnot, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all that sort of stuff. And, yeah, we can all move forward.
Yeah,
Bless you.
100%. I think it's I think that sort of the interview is definitely a step forward. I think that it had to happen eventually, and they obviously chose their time right before Vegas for it to happen. So then the whole Vegas thing would just clamber over the top of it and it'd be forgotten. So once again, tick to the Broncos PR there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They've done very well with this.
Yeah,
Yep,
you are
absolutely.
right, Langers, though. Like, the NRL, they would have had a very hard look at that. Like, look what they did to Bronx and Cherry. Like, that wasn't any club decision. That was NRL decision.
Exactly right.
So, yeah, the Broncos must have either begged hard or like, no, we'll stand by him, or, yeah, so we'll see what comes out
And
of
to
it.
be fair on all of that, I hope it was a hard decision for someone to make. As a game and even as a club, you don't want this to be like, oh, how can we get away with this? You know what I mean? You really want it to be like, shit, I don't care who he is and how important he is. This is a sort of action that can see you, rubbed out of the game. So, hopefully and obviously it looks like that's what's happened behind closed doors, is that between the NRL and the club and Ezra, there has been some very hard conversations. And, at the end of the day, if we get a good role model and a good mentor out the back of it because of these mistakes, well, it's a win for everyone, isn't it? Because we need more strong young men that go through adversity to come out the other side better people and to put that in lights. So that'd be great.
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
good. Well said. All right. We'll move on to a bit of a lighter mood. For the Broncos ladies that were in action for the Jillaroos in Vegas today, mate, 90-4. Holy shit.
Bloodbath.
Bloodbath. Now, as we were saying in the green room, I think they expected the Jillaroos to win when this was obviously all conjured up. Hey, who wants to play? Blah, blah, blah. However, I don't think it was of this sort of magnitude is what they were picturing. Before I get into it, I'll introduce the girls, or the ladies, sorry, and I'll give a bit of a spiel, and then we can each sort of have a chat, because I believe we were all watching the game. Is that correct?
Yeah, I got to see it.
That was the one game that I actually watched the majority of while I was running around today like a headless chook. But Tamika Upton, so first cab off the rank, the fullback. There is a reason that premierships follow this girl. Her, after that display, the bet of both the NRL and the NRLW Broncos making the grand final this year probably just gained some shorter odds, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because like that 5 tries, like I'll give her stats out here. She ended with 5 tries and 1 try assist. She did 10 runs for 183 meters, 7 tackle breaks, 3 line breaks, and a clean sheet of errors. So that might get updated tomorrow or whatnot, but from what I could see, I don't think she set a foot wrong. Ringo, what's your thoughts on Upton, mate, and her performance?
Well, as a Broncos fan, mate, I'm pretty bloody stoked that she's back up into the homeland. She's got an innate ability to be just on the ball at the right time, doesn't she? Like, if there's and that just comes with footy sense and, just being one of the greats, obviously. But anytime that there's a break or a half chance, it seems that Tamika's like right there, Johnny on the spot, or Jenny on the spot, I suppose, in the women's game. She looked scintillating, really. And I know they all did in that game, but yeah, she looked incredible, mate.
So, Langers, you got any thoughts, mate?
Yeah, like if you've listened to previous episodes, Thoroughbreds, you know that I have a lot of time for Tamika Upton. She's, one of the staples of the anytime try scorers. If you are going to have a responsible punt, more often than not, she'll be winning you your $8 back if you have put $5 on. So,
Yeah.
no. But yeah, like it was obviously good that the Australian women won, that the Jillaroos, had a day out. I don't know if 90-4 is the answer to promotion of the game to like the American viewers. I think to put in perspective for us as Aussies, it would be like us watching Italy versus France, Argentina versus Chile or someone like that, and 90-4, like by half time, when it's 60-0, you're sort of just like, righto, let's wrap this up now. This isn't that entertaining anymore, sort of thing. And that was a vibe that I got. Like, it was obviously great to watch, but it was sort of just like, okay, like it would have been better if it was a little bit more competitive.
Yeah.
But no, like I think the Broncos ladies just fucking killed it, all in their own positions, all in their own right. But yeah, getting a fifer, like out of 17 tries and you've got 5 of them, that's a pretty good day out, really.
Yeah, 100%. Would it, if it was closer as well, it would have brought that English crowd into it and that atmosphere
Yeah,
at Allegiance
exactly
as well.
right. I think it just would have brought everybody into it a bit more. The
Yeah.
Aussies would have been paying more attention to it. There would have been more, on the edge of your seat sort of stuff. Whereas there just sort of wasn't any of that. It was just an onslaught, really.
Yeah.
So
It was pretty much, right, kickoff. How are we going to get to the other end in the next 3 tackles? And then it would happen, no doubt.
exactly right.
Yeah, that's
But
it.
it's better than it being the other way around. Better than, the Lionesses pumping us 90-4. Yeah, no, we'll take that win.
And it's the English, so fuck the English.
Yeah, fuck the English.
Moving on, Julia Robinson. Now I'll read her stats out and then I'll pose a question to you guys. 3 tries, 1 try assist, 16 runs for 259 meters, which is the most of any player on the field. 4 line breaks, again, the most of any player on the field. 9 tackle breaks, the most of any player on the field. And she made 3 errors, 1 handling, and I think the other one, 1 error and then 2 handling errors. Now, is it an insult in this day and age? Now, it probably will be in the future, but in this day and age, is it an insult to compare her to a male player on the wing or in her position? And if it is, well, are there any female players that she can be compared to, or is she it? Is she the GOAT of her position?
Her, bro.
Or it's got to be her, hey? And at a stretch, if you were going to compare her to a male, who would you compare her to? I would compare her to a Matt Rogers. It would be my answer, just the way that she kind of plays and the ways that she scores her tries and the amount of running she does out on the wing there, sort of thing. That's who I would compare it to. And I don't mean that as an insult either. I just don't think that there is another female player that you can possibly say, oh, she's like that. So, I'd be interested to get your thoughts there, Ringer.
Yeah, but I think that's right, mate. I don't think there is I think she is it as the NRLW winger. That's who you need to aspire to be. She's big, she's fast, she can break tackles, she's got great hands. I don't think there's anyone in the game to compare her to. And, comparing her to some of the, great male wingers, I don't think it's an insult at all. They all play the same game these days. Mate, I think she's incredible. She seems so fit too, even though 259 meters, a couple of those runs where she dove over in the corner, tore down the field a fair way, and then they cut to her, and she looks like she can't even blow out a candle. Yeah. She's dead set ready for the season, and I think she's going to have a huge year for the Bronx. I think we've all got her at top try scorer or some bloody thing in our preview for the year. So, mate, she's an absolute weapon. Love her.
Yeah, solid stuff. Langers, mate, your thoughts? Would she be one of the first people you reckon picked for the rep side when it came to selecting the team? I know,
yeah, absolutely, mate. That jersey is hers. That number is hers.
Yes.
I mean, who is challenging her for it? Don't get me wrong. There's some talented, female wingers in the competition, and the good thing about the NRLW is it improves every year. So you sort of expedite that, and it's hopefully there are going to be ladies lining up in a few years that challenge her for that jersey. That's what the sport's all about. That's what growing the sport's all about. So hopefully there is, but hopefully they're coming from the Broncos too. But at the moment, you would be the only reason why she wouldn't get that jersey is because of injury or, other personal reasons, like not because of her gameplay. Like what the ringer said, she's strong, she's fast, she's got great hands, great speed, great agility. Like she just ticks all the boxes as a winger. And I don't think the jersey really does her justice, but if you go onto her socials and whatnot, she's a fucking tank, hey? Yeah, fucking oath. So, I think, she is just an amazing player, an amazing winger. And I don't know, maybe you can see her moving into the halves, maybe in a few seasons or something like that, maybe trial that, maybe get on the bigger dollars, I guess, or something. But, at the moment, no, absolutely killing it as a winger. And, you'd love to have her on your team, and I'm glad that she plays for the Broncos.
Clip that up for a couple of years, mate, when they start throwing her at 7. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Good stuff. She is definitely fit and ready. I think a couple of thoroughbreds would be getting down to Suncorp. They have Robbo's Run Club, I believe, that starts at Red Hill. I think she also runs around Suncorp there. So if you are listening and you want to join in, go and check that out. Any young girls in there that are keen and are fans, they can get involved and around and close up to their hero there. Moving on, Keely Joseph. We'll just move on to Keely here. 1 try. So even Keely decided she was going to throw down for the girls there. 9 runs for 113 meters, 22 post contact meters, 16 tackles, 1 missed, 3 ineffective, and a clean sheet of errors. And she did that all from jersey 17.
Yeah, wow.
She just tops the night off for the girls, really, and helps obviously with the try tally and whatnot. Solid innings coming off the bench. There wasn't much defending to do, but when it was there, she still got through it. Great little hit out again for Keely. It's looking terrifying for opposition in the NRLW competition. Ringer, what are your thoughts on Keely's game, mate? Did you see anything special?
As usual. No, Keely's one of my personal favourites. Just I love how she goes about her work. She absolutely poleaxed some Sheila there. I can't remember whether it was the centre coming in or the second row. Just run directly at Keely's right shoulder. She got in under the ribs and just folded her. It was so good, mate. With our Broncos locks, mate, for both NRL and NRLW, will absolutely put you on your ass if you go anywhere near them. So that'll, like Langer said, it's going to be terrifying for any teams coming up against us this year. But, yeah, love Keely. She's talking about comparisons to male players. She is my Dallas Johnson, Ashley Harrison in Origin sort of a player. Never going to be the one that gets the highlight reels except for the massive tackles. But, premiership teams have one of these players in their squad forever. They get through that shitty work in the middle. They're always reliable when you need a few hard, tough meters, and she's that. And I think, talking about who should be first pick, the way she was omitted from this side only 12 months ago is an absolute farce. And, so if she's ever not in the team again, I'm going to be marching somewhere and firebombing a place. So, Keely's one of my favourites, mate.
That's the go. Good stuff. Good explanation, mate. Langers, mate, what do you reckon? Calm down.
Oh, how do you follow that, to be honest with you? Can I just say ditto?
Get on the FBI watch list.
I'm with the Ringer 100%. It's, once again, it's just, I'm just really glad that she's on our team, to be honest, because, I think, and all of those stats from number 17, mate, that in itself is a good feat that she should be proud of, and Thoroughbred should be proud of, and just everything that the Ringer just said, mate, because that's some really, really good stats. And I like the chat about the Dallas Johnson. That's that's pretty good. I like that one. What else do you say? That was just awesome watching, mate. Awesome.
Yeah, good stuff. And then our fearless leader in country and in the kingdom. Ali Brigginshaw put in a solid effort from the veteran. Keen to see her guide the team that we're assembling there at Red Hill around the park this year. I think leaving the premiership, and I'll say it, I think we left the premiership on the table last year. I think we shit the bed against the Sharks. We probably shouldn't have. I think Scotty, Prince, Ali would have figured out why we did that and how. And it would be burning her as the competitor that we know that she is to get that right this year, because she is getting closer to retirement. Doesn't matter how many times you've won a grand final, you always want to win another one. I mean, I can't see Nathan Cleary getting sick of it anytime soon.
Which is
So,
a shame.
you know, which is a shame. And so I think it will be burning her. And what a way to start this year. 7 runs, 49 metres, playing the halfback. 1 line break assist, 1 try assist, 114 kicking metres. But the big thing I wanted to point out here is another clean sheet of errors. For those girls to, like, I need to wrap around it a bit more, thoroughbreds, but I don't know if they have it as an intense off-season just yet, compared to the males, because they're not playing for a couple of months still. So for them to come out at an international level and 3 of them run clean sheets with no errors, that's incredible. So very scary going forward. Do you guys want to touch on Ali at all? Ringer?
Yeah.
Oh.
I like, it's her leadership is what really sort of stands out the most. Like we saw it like last season when she got injured and she went off the field for whatnot. Like those girls just basically went to shit without her guidance and her leadership. So having her in the team, I think, calms a lot of them down. Having that old head in there, that structure, like that leadership. And those stats on her own, like that's awesome. The fact that you can have a clean, sheet of errors, perfect. That's what more can a coach ask for, So yeah, I think that's why she's in the team regardless of her age. And yeah, I think without her in that team, it wouldn't be the score that it was. Like she didn't score or anything like that. She had 1 try assist out of 17, but you take her out of that team, and I don't think that it would have been 90-4.
Yeah, no, fair call. What about you, Ringer, mate?
Well, first thing, mate, Ali, whoever your boot sponsor are, mate, tell them to send you some decent fucking spikes, because the poor girl, first 2 touches of the game, ass up she went, bloody wasn't getting any contact with the ground. So whoever Ali's boot sponsor is, step up your fucking game. But yeah, just quickly, I think it's pretty amazing the comparison between both our NRL and NRLW teams when you look at like Julia on the wing. She's a bit more like a Katoni Staggs, I suppose, in her damaging sort of aspects. But then you've got Keely Joseph in the middle, mate. That's Kobe Hetherington all over, going to smack you, going to do the shit jobs that need to be done, going to tighten up that middle. And then you've got Ali Brigginshaw and Renault, mate. Old heads, been around the game, won premierships, but, they're not as fast, they're not as strong, they're not as agile as they once were. But when they aren't there, things go to shit quite often, like Langer said. So, I think an old head like Al getting around, guiding our team around the park, getting us to where we want to be, being that calming influence is exactly what we need. And I think you're dead right, Bretto. I think they let one slip through their fingers last year. And hopefully they've had a fair few roundtables about that exact thing. And, they're not going to let that happen again.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And everyone out there, like, who's thinking, well, of course they got 0 errors. That was a flogging 90-4. How are you going to make an error when it comes to a game? The clean sheets helped it be 90-4. Like, exactly. If it had been those errors, then we stop play, we do a bit of tackling, and we attack again. We miss out on that try scoring opportunity. So, it was a great effort from the Bronco girls and all the girls that played in the teams. Everyone was pretty solid. So, should be. Julia has set that bar to that height. it's going to be incredible to watch the game evolve to catch up to her and how quick that's going to take. Because
Exactly.
if she can do it now with what they've been given, imagine these girls coming through that have what she has and more available to them. It's going to be like you said, Langers, exponential is how it's going to grow. So, yeah, good stuff. Good solid hit out. All right.
Before we move on,
yeah,
gentlemen and thoroughbreds, I was approached by a thoroughbred this week and was given a beer suggestion. And now we're not paid by this, but Burley Slow Brew Lager, mate. If you're looking for a different sort of beer to have, your regular isn't in the fridge or whatever, and you wanted something else to wrap around, I highly suggest it. So, JT, mate, thank you very much for that. That was it's quite a nice little drop. So yeah, if you're looking for something else, get around the Burley Slow Brew.
It's nice to see you and Jonathan Thurston are still on talking terms, mate.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, fuck him, mate. May live in the same city, but fuck him.
Yeah, good stuff. Nah, sweet
as.
as.
Better, JT.
Good shit.
Nice.
Good shit. All right. Time to look forward now, lads. If you aren't a fan of the Broncos in any which way, you can turn the podcast off now because we've already recorded your stream, so it does great for our analysis. So that's fine. But we'll be going through the team list now, how we see it after the trials and all that. Go back a couple episodes, you'll see our team list we thought as we were going into the trials. So this is what we believe, or I should say this is what I believe will be 1 to 17 running out. There's a couple of contentious areas there, or some people that have got lucky through some injuries and whatnot, but this is what we'll go through. And, look, it's not rocket science that this could really potentially be. There's no curlies in here. So, got the monocles out. We've charged our calculators, and we've got a fine-tooth comb about the run over the mob. So Reece Walsh, and we will be talking about them individually too, thoroughbreds. So, if you're not a Broncos fan, this definitely isn't your cup of tea. You're going to hate it. Reece Walsh. So he looks ready to, this is my little notes that I've got. He looks ready to go. Small concern with the eye strap to the knee against the Bulldogs there, but he's had 2 weeks off to do whatever that was. Who knows? Madge is excellent at media. Strap an ice bag to your knee, lad. Get out there and walk in front of the cameras, like blah, blah, blah. Who really knows? But I tell you what, he looks so fucking good in the trials. He looks like a weapon. I'm glad he's on our team. If the Hunt and the Renault thing does what we think it's going to be, Reece is going to go to another level as long as some prick doesn't come and take his fucking head off, essentially. So that's all we're relying on there. Ringer, thoughts on Reece, mate? Do you agree at once that he will be our fullback? Generic question.
Oh, it's a contentious one, mate, but yes.
Bring back Sailor.
Bring him back. Hayes has gone down, so it's not the silliest thing to do. He looks fit. He looks ready. Personally, I hope Reece builds into the season. Has a look about, just takes, he's never going to do this because he is who he is. But I mean, just sits back and works on those combinations, builds those combinations with our new old halves. And, really just, error-free, chime in on those back lines. We've seen it in the trials against the Dogs, mate. When they're good, they just skin that poor old Sander. They got no hope. And then they got when you're going on over untouched pretty much, like that's going to be the play. And teams know it's coming, but whether they can stop it or not, it's up to them. But yeah, mate, he looks ready to go. Can't wait, really, to see how he blossoms underneath the tutelage of these old fellas.
Yeah, good stuff. Langers, what are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I think he's definitely got the number one. I think, Latrell Sigwell obviously had a little bit of a dig, but yeah, I think he's another sort of season or two off. But in saying that, I think Reece is going to be the number one for a long time to come, to be honest, unless, like what you said, Brito, like some dickhead comes and takes his head off. I think he's going to be the fullback for a while. If he goes well, he'll obviously challenge for the fullback for the Maroons, and who knows, he might even be backing up for the green and gold at the end of the year. You just never sort of know. He is that sort of player. He has that capacity to become, Australia's fullback. So no, and like we said in the previous episodes, like I feel like he's a different fullback now. He's a different man now. I think there's more accountability in his game. Like, yeah, when he kicked it out on the full last game, he was fucking filthy with himself, and we just didn't see that last season. So, just little things like that, and like he's looking fit. He's still fast as fuck. So, yeah, he's definitely got the number one, mate. Definitely.
Yeah, beautiful. That's awesome. Selwyn Cobbo, we'll move on to the first wing spot. Selwyn Cobbo. Now, in my head here with Selwyn, I know there's contract negotiations and everything going on, and there is chat that he may leave and whatnot. And to be honest, leading into the trials, if he left, I'd be like a bugger. But not the end of the world for me, sort of thing. But he impressed in the trials, and not in a skills way. We all know he's skillful, but more in an attitude sort of way. Very aggressive. Not
100%.
letting mistakes hold him back. Like that, we all seen it against the Bulldogs. He did the wrong play of the ball. Now, the old Cobbo would have taken a step back, would have taken a confidence hit, kind of like Corey Oates, very confidence playing sort of thing. If he catches that ball in the first 5 minutes, well, then he just builds on that. If he drops it, then he goes into a bit of a shadow. But no, he dug in. He tried to force a couple of people's rib cages back into their sternums and whatnot, and from there it was great. So I will be sad if he does end up leaving, but he's come to the attitude this season correctly, I reckon. So Langers, I'll throw to you, mate, on this one. What do you reckon?
Yeah, like I'm glad he is a Bronco, and hopefully he will be a Bronco for a while. I know there is chat that maybe he will go, and that'll be sad to see him go. I really don't think that he'll have any drama finding another job or another club. If he does decide to leave, I think he'll be able to command a very impressive sort of payday if he does go. Yeah, because of his skill, his speed, and yeah, I think it was very good and refreshing, I guess you can sort of say, of his aggressiveness. He was pretty filthy with himself when he made that error, and then he just started lining people up and fucking folding them like deck chairs. So yeah, it's always good when you've got a big winger that can handle his own and, take the big runs when he needs to, and also provide the meat pies when they're on offer. So, no, I don't think there's going to be too many people that can beat Cobbo for that number 2 jersey, mate.
It's going to be very interesting to see who the opposition kicks to. Which flavour they want, I guess. So, Ringo, what's your take on Selwyn this year after the trials, mate?
Yeah, mate, much the same. I think was what you said. We all know he's got the skill, but I was really, really impressed with the aggression and the meters he was making from our own end. It was a completely different Selwyn. Like we have seen glimpses of that in his game, but it looked like he made a conscious effort to turn his arsehole up a bit and absolutely, put that aggression into his game. And nothing better. When he's not playing confidently, you forget how big he is. But when he turns that aggression up a bit, when he's running back and he just lines someone up in the defensive line and pulls them on, they go skittling out the flat. Like he is a big human. So, mate, I'm a bit the same as you. All preseason, Selwyn's going to go. That'll be sad, but it's not the end of the world. Now I'm like, okay, fuck. Renault's old, Benny Hunt's old, and let's keep him on a low contract and back end him so we can keep him here once all these old farts retires. You know what I mean? Like it gets into that territory, doesn't it? So me and mate, I think he's locked in. I hope he has a big year, and I'd love to see him back in an Origin jersey.
Yeah, 100%. And the fact that he did it against the Bulldogs as well,
yes,
they're gonna be up the top of the table. We need him to step up against teams like that. So it was good to see. And yeah, I really hope that we get back to Origin Cobbo just before he got knocked out that time. Origin Cobbo pre that, was a dangerous person. All right, I guess we'll go into the first of our contested, and it just so happens to be both of our centres. So we've got Sibasaki and Mariner. Now, I believe that they will be 3-4 come Team List Tuesday this week. And I think that Madge couldn't have asked for a better way for the two-way battle to go down for one centre spot. The fact that Katoni is out, now we get a little bit of a spicy comp. Go out there, boys, and we'll play against each other, and we'll get the stats and we'll put them side by side. When Katoni comes back in, that's who will prove will be the victor here. Ringer, what's your thoughts on that, mate? Who do you reckon gets that jersey? Who do you think is going to come out on top?
Mate, I'm got to say I'm a bit confused with Madge's selections because not confused. I'm trusting his process because they obviously look so connected as a squad. So there's, obviously other things. But I mean, on pure explosive talent, Dean Mariner is who I would pick. However, in that second trial, Shibsaki did absolutely nothing wrong, and he's a fucking monster. He's a huge body. So, if that's what Madge is looking for, and like defensively, he was really good. He was energetic, carrying the ball out of our own end. Like nothing flagged to me like, oh, well, he's definitely not going to start. So like you said, I don't know whether Madge bloody sent a word down to the Bulldogs, or can someone cork bloody Katoni's thigh? I need to figure out who my centres are. Because, like you said, we get a perfect look out now at a shootout of who's going to be there on that other edge when Katoni comes back. So, and, like we're just saying about Selwyn, if both of them players are brilliant and going really well, all of a sudden we've got someone to sell on the open market, you know what I mean, to free up that cap space, which is, a funny way of looking at it, I know, but I mean, it's a cutthroat bloody industry. So,
Yep.
Yeah, if Selwyn's really killing it and the cost of that is Dean Mariner, but because Shibsaki's doing a great job, well, you know what I mean? Like you could see those sort of dominoes lining up.
Yeah, that's a
it's
good point.
exciting, mate. And I hope both of them fucking kill it, and Katoni's got to fight his way back in, really. But I mean, yeah, it's going to be so interesting, and it's going to be one of those internal battles that we get to see as Broncos fans. That's really going to make an extra tier of excitement for each game.
Yeah, good call. Langs, mate, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think if you are a coach and you are sort of scratching your head on who to play, I think getting a player injured at this point in time is probably a bit of a godsend for you. Because he's out for a couple of weeks. He's not out for the season. He doesn't need surgery or anything like that. It's as far as injuries go, it's a good injury, I guess. In that sort of sense, it gives Madge another couple of weeks to just have a look on who's going to be the best. Because I do think that if Katoni is fit after he comes back from injury, he's going to go into the centres. I don't think that either Shibasaki or Mariner can do whatever they want. I don't think they're going to take that spot off him. That fend off on Stag is worth a couple of $100,000 a year alone. I think, it'll be a good little hit out for the two of them over the next couple of weeks. Hopefully they should. Well, I mean, I'm sure they do realise it that, you've got 4 weeks or 3 weeks to prove yourself here. So, rip in and tear and make that spot yours, that jersey yours. So, hopefully they both have that sort of mentality and they both can just absolutely rip in and then, give Madge another headache in a few weeks' time when he has to pick one of them when they're both firing. So, it's positive signs for when one of your players is injured, oddly enough.
Good stuff. Yeah,
And just quickly on top of that, sorry, just really quick, but isn't it a good thing if Katoni does get selected for Origin? These two fellas have played 4 or 5 weeks already battling out for that position. So it's like plug and play. Thank you very much. It's so upsides.
Yeah, good. A luxury of riches, if you will. Jesse Arthurs. So we'll go to the other wing spot here. An absolute lock. Has started the year well in all forms from trials to rep. Looks bigger, looks fitter. Dare I say, looks a little bit faster as well. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Jesse. and I hope he has a massive year. I think he's got it locked in. I don't think anyone will be taking that spot off him, barring injury. He kept Corey Oates. I know Corey, some people will say that his form flailed at the end of his career, but I mean, he did literally keep Corey out of the squad there for a while. So he's, and I think he's a lot better this year than what he was back then as well. So looking forward to seeing it anyway. And I was really impressed in the trials and the Indigenous game up against the Māori All-Stars. Langers, what are your thoughts, mate? Happy to have him there.
Yeah, fucking oath. I've got him in my super coach team, so hopefully he just scores
Amen.
like 1,000 tries and never gets injured and just flat out absolute gun. He looked good in the trials. Like, he kept up with Reece when Reece was, on his feet. So that's always positive to see that, Reece wasn't just throwing the ball, a meter in front of Arthur's because he couldn't keep up with him, sort of thing. He seemed to keep up with him fine. So that's another little tick in the box for our attack. I agree with what you said, Brito. He looks fitter, he looks bigger, he looks faster. So yeah, fucking bring on the Roosters, mate.
Yeah, mate, fucking 100%. Bring him, mate.
Yeah,
Bit of chat on
100%,
that.
mate. Totally agree. I think he might have been disappointed in last year as well, because I think we all were. We've seen what he did in our actual grand final game, and in the run leading into that, where he really took that meterage role personally. It seemed to take, he really took on that workload. And then last year, I think, I don't know, for some reason, just didn't have that sort of want and mentality of getting gritty. But now he does look bigger. He looks way bigger, like thick as a fuck. Like, but
Thicker than a schnicker.
Thicker than a schnicker. And it absolutely robbed in the hottest top 10 too. But anyway, I think he's going to have a big year on that left edge, mate. I got him in my Supercoach too, funnily enough. So that, that means he's definitely out for the season in a couple of weeks. But no, I'm really rooting for Jesse, because I think he's another one of them players that probably doesn't get the accolades he deserved when he was really killing it for us. But everyone was quick to pile on him last year when he wasn't doing those things. So I'm hoping this is like a redemption year for him, and he can, set the record straight that he's probably going to be in, one of the top backline players in the comp, because he can do anything.
Sweet.
He can play centre too if he needs to.
Yeah.
So another string to his.
All right. Good call on that one. I'll combine our halves here. I'll say a bit of a spiel about both, but I think it's pretty obvious that Ben Hunt will run out in the 6 and Adam Reynolds will run out in the 7. Ben Hunt had some comments this week referring to when he was dropped by Wayne back in 2017. A little bit of a hangover from that 2015 grand final, no doubt. But he went back to the Ipswich Jets under the Walker brothers and played a bit of 5/8 there. He reckons he felt free. He could do what he wanted to do. He could have a bit of fun. That's his attitude coming into this role now as the 5/8. Most likely when he was signed, that there was this chat, obviously the Ezra thing had happened. So there was some chat that he would be playing a little bit of 5/8 there. So well aware of it and whatnot. So I'm very keen to see how this goes. He also commented that he's happy to let Renault steer the ship, and he'll just work in with Reece as it goes. And mate, I just having a free Ben Hunt to feed onto Walsh is just going to be a joy to watch. And hopefully we're 8 rounds in and undefeated, and I just can get louder and louder and more annoying. Adam Reynolds. So the little general is out to show people who laughed when he stated a few weeks back that he could play for another year. He didn't, that's got to be a headache, right? Because he is signed. He only has a contract for this year. If he does want to play next year, do the Broncos honor that? Kobe gets another year of development under him, even though Renault, by the sounds of it, won't be leaving the walls of Red Hill. He'll just jump onto the coaching team and whatnot. So Kobe will still have that around him. But fuck me, didn't the Rabbitohs drop the ball on this one? And in the same side of that, great pick great pat on the back for the Broncos recruitment for picking this one up. We fumbled a lot lately with Tommy did and Jermaine Azarko and a few others, but holy shit, they nailed it with this one. And it very well could lead. Well, it nearly led to a premiership, but it very well could come to fruition. That's what we end up with him. Ringer, I'll throw to you, mate. What's your thoughts on those two, the 6 and the 7?
Oh, mate, I'm so keen to see how they soldier this team around. You hear it all the time from the great sort of minds of the game, Matty Johns especially, talking about having control of the game. And between these two, surely to Christ, they didn't look great in the trials, but I mean, they're bloody 30-odd-year-old. They'll turn up when it's game day, mate. That's not as if that's their first bloody rodeo. But I mean, just the absolute, I think everyone will know exactly what they want to do and where they need to be on the field. And if they don't get there, I hope they're going to get a serve and say, this is, the standards should be so high. I've had wet dreams about, a long open side where it's, Moser to Reynolds with forwards running around him, with options either side, out the back to bloody Huddy with the same thing. He's got edges out there and he's got re-sweep, and it's just going to look so sexy one of these games. So I've completed to something like that in my dream, so hopefully that'll come to fruition. But yeah, like you said, with Reno, mate, would it be the stupidest thing? What's he going to be on as a coach at the club? Fuck all, probably. Are you better off putting him on a smaller salary to, if Kobe Black is ready, what happens if Kobe gets hurt? Is the worst option in the world that Reno comes up and steers the ship for a few games? Fuck yeah. If he's keen to go around, mate, he might kill it this year and might be fucking Dalian halfback. So it'll be the smartest decision ever. But it all depends on how his body hangs up. So we all know that they've got that in them. I'm just so keen to see how they push all these young throbbers around and sort of get the best out of them. How do you see it?
100%. Oh, mate. Oh, bloody yeah! I'll take that analogy any day. Bit of bit of washing in the morning, if you will. Langers, mate, what's your thoughts?
Yeah. I'm kind of with Ringer on that one.
You weren't with me at the time.
No, but the oldest pairing in the competition by a fucking minute too. And no, I'm excited, but unfortunately there is always that, Adam Reynolds injury cloud that will always hang over him. He is getting older, and he did explode his bicep, and that really sort of hindered his career, I guess. Maybe year, not so much career, but no, I think, Benny Hunt coming out and saying that he's feeling free in, back in the Broncos, that's positive. That's, you can't really see it any other way than that. And I think, even if Benny Hunt does start doing some stupid shit, which he doesn't normally do, I mean, he is kind of high up in the air as well. He was last year anyway. I think, there's enough sort of maturity and level-headedness and sort of leadership within Reynolds and some of the other boys as well to, pull him back into line and be like, right, mate, that's enough sort of thing. But no, I think, I think the top 7 is, the first 7 is fucking, yeah. I think it's going to be fucking good.
I think as well, from what we've seen with Madge with this team, he's going for really, I guess you could call him traditional. So Kobe is your more traditional lock. So it could very well be that we see Reno steer the team in our own 50. And then once we get over that 50, well, then Ben and Reese can take over. And that's where our attack sort of comes in, because it did seem that way against the Bulldogs that they didn't do anything flash until they were within that 30 meters. And then once they hit that 30 meters, Reno just handed it over. What are we doing? This is the shape. Who wants it? Ben wants it or Reese wants it, and they got it, sort of thing. So that'll be good. Also, is it a bad shout to say that the NRL may even bring in an extra salary cap rule that your halves pairing isn't allowed to have X amount of games combined after this year?
680 games combined. Good luck.
Yeah, that's it. It could look that way.
And I think especially for our team and how Renault missing so many games last year really disrupted us because we are young, we are rudderless. We'd be fucking terribly unlucky to lose both of them.
Yeah.
That either way, we're going to have an old half in that team to still be directing the ship, whether it's either or. Josh Rogers comes in if it's Hunty, and Madden comes in if it's Renault. It's it's a far better position to be in than last year.
Yeah. I hope if there is an injury to Renault, I'd love to see Hunt move into 7 and then we bring on Rogers in 6.
Yes.
I'd love that. Righto, that's enough glazing of those two. 8, Payne Haas. Fuck it, let's glaze another player. Haas is a machine. How do you come back from another season and people comment that you got bigger when you're possibly one of the biggest humans that have run out onto a football field? And I've also got a little note in here. I've just simply said, we owe this man a premiership. He has seen us through the darkest of days and literally carried us out the other side on his back. So we do really owe this man a premiership, and I hope that in if this year or next year we can deliver that to him. Langers, mate, thoughts on Mr. Haas in the 8?
Mate, if you've listened to previous episodes, then you just know that I fucking love this man. He is just an absolute machine. And yeah, if he called you a cunt, you'd fucking believe him, because you're not going to fight the man, are you? So, I think, he has helped us out a lot through the years. There was a little bit of chat that he may have left, last season because he just sort of wasn't seen. He wants a premiership. I don't think he's made that a secret. And yeah, I think the Broncos do owe him one for, the loyalty and whatnot. Like, he's getting paid well, don't get me wrong, but he's worth every cent, Like, would you want him on your team, or would you rather him running at your team? It's a pretty simple sort of equation to get an answer to. So yeah, no, I absolutely love the big fella, and hopefully this little injury that he's got at the moment is nothing, and he can come back and just absolutely fucking smoke everybody in his path. So yeah, no, he's definitely got the 8, mate. Absolutely.
Perfect. Ringer?
Oh yeah, mate. This little up and comer named Payne. He might make the starting side, I suppose. Yeah, no, he's in. He is going to be more than likely one of our most consistent, as he has been even in our spoon year. He was no doubt he was no doubt one of the best props in the game. So for Payne's sake, I hope we have success just for him. So he's paid us enough. We need to repay him for all his loyalty. And mate, I think he's happy there. He's obviously is happy there, or he would have gone. So a little bit of success would be so good. Yeah. So very happy that Payne's still around.
So what's the record for teams? How many Dally M players I've got in 1 year? Mate, the way that I'm looking at it, we could give it a nudge, if not a lift, this year. But we'll see. Yeah. We'll see.
1 to 13 if we play our cards right.
Yeah, oh boy.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, what a Dally M night that will be. Far out. Yeah. All right. Another contentious role here. The 9. Very talked about, very public. The rise of Cuck Chair Corey. Ringer has been very vocal on this man from the early episodes of our podcast last year when he wasn't running around in first grade. He wasn't even thought about running around in first grade. I've got him in yellow here. So on my notes here, Thoroughbreds, I've got him in yellow as in he's in a contentious position. Because the talking point is, does he play well enough to keep Moser out of the squad or on the bench when he comes back? Or does he force the Broncos to commit to Moser's surgery early? So we all know Moser has suffered a shoulder injury. It's not season ending, but it will eventually need surgery. You can rehab it, you can play with it, you get through the year, you have surgery in the off season. Does Pakesy play well enough for the Broncos to be like, you know what, just go for the surgery, Mojo, and we've got it from here sort of thing. We've got enough depth in the 9. you get your body right and come back next season, and we go from there. So I thought I'd just plant that little seed there. But I'm excited to see Corey play. I hope he does well, but me personally, I don't think he does play well enough to keep Moser out of the side. Thoughts, Langers?
Yeah, the old hooker role is definitely probably the most contended position that we have. You know, like you got Pakes, you got Moser, you got Walters, you got Hunt, and you got Smoothie. So you know, when you're a fifth string, you know, you can definitely understand why Tyson's signed elsewhere, because you got 4, you know, guns in front of you, sort of thing. So, yeah, I honestly think it will all depend on Moses' recovery, to be honest. Like, and I think that's what Madge said, that he's just going to sort of give it another couple of weeks, see how he is, you know, rehabbing himself. And if it's not sort of looking good, then yeah, you might as well just throw him under the knife and just be like, mate, just sit this one out, rest up, you know, come back next season. You know, you can let Pakes and Walters do the 9 and 14, and, you know, then, you know, you got the whole Ezra Mam and the reshuffling potentially and all that sort of stuff as well. So, yeah, I think, yeah, I think Moser will probably be the 9 in the future, sort of thing. You know, he's a young fella, showing plenty of promise. This injury has definitely helped Corey to come into the 9 and or 14, you know, depending. But no, I think he has definitely earned his spot. And yeah, like obviously a ringer has been riding his dick for a while now, and deservedly so, to be honest, because yeah, I can't really fault the man. And yeah, what I've seen in trials, I've been impressed with. So yeah, I'm more than happy for him to take the 9, mate.
Sweet. I'll let you take it away there, Ringer. If you through with Ben Hunt and Renault.
Yeah.
Just got to wipe a bit.
Is that why he's called
mate,
Cuckchair? Because he's just watching.
Yeah, I've been calling, like, I named him Cuckchair Corey because he was bloody been out on the wings for however long in our hooker role. Even when we were going, shit, it's like, why can't this man get a job? You know, I gave him that many pats on the head, he bloody lost all his hair, poor bastards. But I think, like, we're running into there's going to be some really big decisions here, right? So, trial form, 100% he has to be the 9, I believe. 2 tries in the first game for a start, and he looked absolutely rock solid in the second trial, which makes Billy the 14 in my books because Walters played so well at 6. So if there is an injury in the halves, there's a bit of a reshuffle there, but, you know, Billy played well in the 6. But then you got to think, Moser and Ezra would come back roughly about the same time, right? If Ezra's playing grand final year Ezra football, how the fuck do you fit in Corey Pakes, Billy Walters, Ben Hunt if they want to move him to 9, and Blake Moser? I mean, there's a huge headache there coming, and, you know, it'll probably be just age bias that'll push the other 2 out. You know, like Moser will probably come in just because prodigal son, a bit younger, you know, got a bit more to play with. But I mean, I think Corey Pakes has really made himself. He's going to be an NRL 9. Like, there's no chance of him going overseas. I think if we can't fit him into our system, someone's going to be knocking at the door at about July 1 and going, "We need a fucking hooker. Thank you very much."
Yep.
So, yeah, like you said, I've been a big fan of Corey for a long time. I hope he makes it hard for anyone that wants to come and take that 9 jersey off him, because I think he's full of heart. He's talented enough, and, like, he gets the job done, mate. And once again, with the team that we have, do we need a 9 that is going to control everything from the dummy half position, or do we just need someone to feed pill and make their tackles? Like, so yeah, it's going to be very interesting around that round 10 when everyone becomes available again to see what sort of skullduggery we pull off there, because it's going to be such a head fuck. But yeah, mate, I'm so happy for him. I think he takes the 9 round 1. I think Billy moves to 14 just because of his a bit more versatility. And yeah, I'm all for it, mate. I think he's going to really, you know, put us in good state early in the season.
Yeah, good stuff. hopefully he does play well. It'll be a great little battle going forward. Anyway, I think like you said, come that date, I think the Cowboys will come knocking. They've just lost their hooker.
I think a few will, to be honest. I think a few teams will probably come knocking, to be honest.
Yep. So, maybe some decisions, will be taken out of our hands and whatnot, but we'll be prepared for it nevertheless. Okay, our second prop, Mr. Patrick Carrigan, Sir Locks himself. He's our second international prop that's in the team. And as Corey Parker said during the week on SEN, you need a top-tier elite prop in your team to win the premiership. Now, I didn't go back and fact-check Corey because I'm one-eyed and I believe the man. But he reckons every team that's won a premiership has an international prop in their team. And we just happen to have two. So we've got Haas, we've got Carrigan, who's now moved into that position. I think Carrigan brings more to the table than most others in his ability of ball playing, his agility, his ability to find his front, and just do the tough stuff. At the start of when the rumors came about that he was moving the prop, I was sort of made it very clear that I wasn't happy with it, mainly because I thought we had to have a ball playing lock. But the Trolls have shown that we don't need that. And moving forward, I love seeing the 10 on Patrick back. So, Ringer, mate, got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, 100%, mate. I think it was a bit of a shock when they first said that he might move into, well, not a shock so much that he was going to go to prop, because he sort of plays that anyway for us. It was just whether Kobe could step up to that 13. Over the last however many years, Payne's probably been close to the best prop in the game. Zayo is probably the best middle player in the game, probably proven today in the Vegas round. He was incredible. And Paddy and Isaiah have been sort of battling for that, bit more than a prop middle player, if you know what I mean. Yep. So I don't think we lose anything putting him up front, mate. It just, like you said, if it takes an elite prop to win your comp, well, how does 2 or 3 sound? And I think we've seen it in that Dogs trial once we put them back on the field or when they kicked off the game. The 1-2 punch of Payne and then Paddy, that just guaranteed 25, 30 meters that they get you. The stuff that you can do off the back of that's just elite. It doesn't matter what number he has on his back. I think the contention was always around could Kobe fill the 13? And I think the trials have got us happy enough that that's going to happen.
Yep, no, that's fair. What about you, Langers, mate?
Yeah, I fucking love the big fella, to be honest. He is sort of tipped to probably be the next captain once Reynolds leaves. So, the fact that you'll even be, there's chat around you being the captain for the Broncos, I think that says a lot as well. I mean, the man's just an absolute workhorse, he's just an elite player. We do the stats every game, and it was always that man's name on the top of the list nearly every single round, regardless win, lose, draw, whatever. He was always king of the stats. So, yeah, I think he's just going to go from strength to strength. And, yeah, hopefully in this new position, which sort of, like what Ringer said, it's not the newest of positions for him. But, yeah, hopefully he can just fucking rip and tear. And I think he'll be fine in that. And I think he'll just fucking smoke people yet again.
Sweet. Yeah, that's it. We'll move on to the first of our edge positions in the number 11 jersey, Jordan Ricky. Now, I want big things from Ricky. Not if it's straight out the gate, happy as Larry here, but eventually I want teams to fear his edge. I don't think they do that to the extent that they should at the moment. I just want minimum errors and missed tackles from him. And I want holes hit, basically, is because the lad has the potential to be this damaging ball runner. It frustrates me because I want to see him just smoke holes, 10 meters out, whatever. I'm sure he's good at it, but let's let's get him to do it on the field, sort of thing. Is where I'm going with this one. So, all you gotta do is look at that lad's All you gotta do is look at that lad's Instagram, and you'll soon understand what I'm talking about, Thoroughbreds. But yeah, like I don't want teams to come in and go, oh yeah, we'll attack Ricky's edge or something like that. Like, oh, actually, where are we going to go? And then again, like defending. Like if they're coming up against the attack of the Broncos, well, yes, you've got Reece to worry about. You got the outside back, sure, but then we also got this large lad here looming that will cut back on the inside and potentially score under the sticks if we let him. So, he's there probably. I guess some would say he's there because no one else is there to take his jersey. But like I'm a bit on the fence there when it comes to that, because Ricky's got the talent, he's got the size, he's got the ability. I just want to see him just reach his full potential, and I really think this year should be the year that he does do that with Madge at the helm. So I'll go back around the Langers, mate. What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, I'm with you 100% there, Brito, to be honest with you, mate. Like, yeah, I don't have anything else to add from that. I think he can be better than what we have seen in the past, whether that was a him thing or just a team thing, not feeding him the ball as much. I'm not really too sure. Yeah, like he has that capacity to be a dangerous player. Like, we have seen glimpses of that in the past. And yeah, hopefully we just see that a whole lot more. And yeah, we just see holes getting hit left, right, and center, mate.
Ringer, mate, what do you reckon?
Oh, to see Ricky smoking holes, mate, that'd be such good viewing for the rest of the year. But yes, like you said, there has been glimpses of that attacking. You know, there's an attacking second rower there that we've just never seemed to have unlocked for some reason. I don't know if that's a him thing or a ball player thing, but yeah, I think defensively, he's always been pretty sound. And like you said, if he steps up into that bit of mongrel, I love his kick chase. Like, we're seeing it today in Vegas, Liam Martin just peppering whoever was on that side. If Jordan Ricky can be that for us, that's all I want him to be.
Yeah. And we've just moved Ben Hunt, top try assist, into that position that's on his side there too. So if you want to be a bit responsible there, Thoroughbreds, a couple of shekels on Ricky for any time during the year might not be the worst option you've ever come up against. All right, we've got the other contentious position here, and this one is a contentious position. This isn't a couple of Thoroughbreds fighting it out to gain the spot. This isn't, injuries here and there or whatnot. This is a full-on shootout for this position, and it's one that's taken me a lot by surprise. So it's our other edge, the number 12 jersey, and I do have Jack Waselski in this jersey at the moment, purely based on what we've seen in the trials and what we've heard in the media. I thought it was warning shots from Madge at the start, but the closer we get to Team List Tuesday, the closer I think that it's not warning shots. It's a full-on shot across the bow, at the bow of Brendan Piakura to pull his head out of his ass and do something. Jack is... so Jack is, like I've got written here, Jack is a genuine surprise in the team. Are we missing something? He's been solid, but he's been solid without being great. I guess I haven't heard many people, and don't get me wrong, Thoroughbreds, this isn't coming from educated people in the game or whatnot, but it's just from the general viewing, because he's played for quite a few teams. He's been a bit of a journeyman, and I haven't met a fan yet of either of those teams that have good words to say about Jack. They haven't had really shit words to say about him, but it's not like, oh, we were sad to see him go. He sort of just disappeared and went to another team and popped up, sort of thing. So Madge did give him his debut, and he hasn't really had another coach like him since the Rabbitoh days. I think it was the Rabbitohs. Maybe Madge is the coach that he needs to do what he needs to do. And maybe he's the iron that Ricky and Piakura need to harden up on those edges. He's just got enough talent to be bubbling away there that, hey, if you boys slip any lower than this bar that we've set, Jack's going to take his spot there for a couple of weeks or whatnot until you get yourself right. But yeah, I've got Jack at 12. It may not happen, but that's where it sits at the moment. Ringer, thoughts on that, mate?
Mate, I'm with you. It's popped up and it's been something that sort of hit us all by surprise. I think the raps on Percura coming through have been so like lavish, I suppose, that we may have got blinded by it. And to be fair, Brendan didn't light up the fucking world last year. Like we often said on this podcast how little the second rowers did. So maybe this is an effort related. I don't know, an effort related thing. It's probably not bad to put someone on notice like that is young, that has potential. You know, maybe his spot's never been under threat in his whole career. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's come through schoolboys, he's come through lower grades, he's done all that, and he's just bloody breezed through his whole life. So maybe this is a shot across the bow, like you said. Jack, like you said, didn't do anything bad in the trials, I guess, but Brendan definitely was damaging when he done his part. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that sort of plays out. But yeah, mate, if it's me, I'm still putting Percura on there and telling Jack that if Percura doesn't do it, the job, well, you've got it, and then kick Percura to the curb. But yeah, I don't know. He must have done something on day one at bloody preseason, mate, and Matt just gone, good luck getting the game this year, bro.
Yeah, 100%. What about you, Ringer, mate?
Langers?
Yeah. Sorry.
I love a good smoky, so
yeah.
I think it's good to see not a household name in the list there. I agree with both of you. I think Percura. I think a lot of people just expected Percura to take that number 12 jersey. So yeah, maybe he obviously did something, or maybe Jack has just done more in the off season and he's just impressed Madge more. Like I think, Madge came into the Broncos and basically said to everybody, it's a clean slate. Nobody's guaranteed a position here. You have to earn your spot. And obviously Jack may have just earned it a bit more than Percura. And, it's not the worst thing, it hopefully it might light a fire under, Percura, and he might just come back absolutely fucking just dismantling people. So, yeah, it's all speculation at this point. Teamless Tuesdays will be very interesting to have a read and, just sort of go from there. But, once again, it's just another refreshing sort of thing that there are options for Madge that, we can throw in. And I think, between the three of them, Jack, Jordan, and Brendan, who of them will fill those two spots easy, those three. So I don't think we'll have any sort of dramas. Hopefully just from both of whoever gets those two spots, hopefully they do really well or better than last year, and we sort of just come up to our expectations a little bit more for the second rowers. And if Jack earns that spot, then Jack obviously deserves that spot, and fucking good on him, and hopefully he absolutely fucking kills it.
Yeah, perfect. Well, we'll move on to the final run-on spot there, 13. Now, Kobe Hetherington's in that spot. We've already spoken about the whole swap up here. I wasn't a fan of Kobe going to lock, but I was a huge fan on him not leaving the club. Hated that chat about him meeting with the Tigers. I thought he could maybe push for that one of those edge spots, I thought he was going to be the one that replaced either Percura or Ricky. We were pretty high on him at the end of last season. But again, like I said at the previous position with Paddy, I think I fell in love with that ball-playing lock and that we had to have it. But that's why I'm here and not in the coach's box. So we do have so many chefs in our kitchen that maybe we need that hard-working dish boy to just get out there and sort through the grime. And Kobe definitely likes to dish out a fair bit of pain there. So I love it now. I'm all for it. I'm here for it. I hope it works out. Looking for a big year for Kobe, and well done, mate, on earning a run-on spot if you get it on Tuesday. Langers, mate, you got any chat on that?
fucking love Kobe. I fucking love that man. We've said it in previous episodes that it's good to see the opposition pick him out because he's the smallest, if that's the word you want to call it, and then him just absolutely ironing him out. It's so good to see. So, no, I've always been a big fan of Kobe. He just does his job. And yeah, it's good that he's getting a run on spot. I assume he's getting the run on spot. So, no, I expect big things from him this year. I don't think I'll be disappointed in his gameplay and his work load and ethic and all that sort of stuff. So, no, I think, yeah, it's going to be fucking good, boys. I think it's really good.
So keen. What about you, Ringer, mate?
Yeah, mate, much the same. Always been high on Kobe as a player and just the effort. But like you were saying, I didn't know if he was him for our lock position. But I think you hit the nail on the head there. With as many cooks in the kitchen as what we have, either side of our halves, our dummy half, and our fullback, we don't need an Isaiah Yo that is setting up plays. We need someone that, if called upon, can throw the ball out the back, but mainly snap dudes in half and pinch a quick 10 metres, maybe with an offload in the middle. So, an 80-minute solid fit player. And, there was a few question marks around not his defence at all, but his lateral movement last year. Like sometimes he'd get caught out with speedier players through the middle. But I think in the trials, he looked like he's really worked on that. And it's like, he's starting to get that don't go near fucking Kobe aura about him, about like, he's going to chop you. And I can't wait till the end of year montage of all the people that Kobe's just fucking poleaxed for the year. So, really, really glad that we kept him. Like you said, it was shit chat when they were talking about shopping him around.
Yeah, fucking hell.
And just for that culture, like exactly what we meant with Keeley, competition winning clubs have someone like Kobe Hetherington in them all the time, doing the shit jobs that, in 10 years, no one will remember they fucking played the game, but everyone that's a fan goes, who was one of the best players that season? It'll be fucking Kobe Hetherington. So, really glad he got them.
Yeah, that's it. Good on him with that. So, all right, that wraps up the run-on side, and fucking hell, I'm so keen for Thursday. Hopefully we're not sitting there next week with egg on our faces, but it's going to be, it's going to be so good. What we'll do now is we'll just run through the bench that I see it, and then we can have a discussion if you guys want to chat about, anyone else you'd rather have in there. So I've got it with Billy Walters at 14, mainly due to his versatility, not to play hooker. I think Corey is the 80-minute guy, but he's there to plug a hole if need be. Corey Jensen, that punch that he's going to have when you take just Payne off and then run him on, that's a scary. As much as it saddened me that he's sitting on the bench, that's a scary prospect that he's going to come on, 10 minutes to go in the first half, fresh legs, just running at people. I've got Xavier. Now, I've got him there because I've got a bit of a soft spot for Big X. I hope that this is his breakout year. So this is his 5th year in the first grade, and if he goes well, he should notch up 50 games. So if you do the maths there, Thoroughbreds, 5 years, he hasn't yet hit 50. It's been a bit stop-starty. He sort of hasn't really locked down that full-on run-on spot or a bench spot, consistently. He is one that I expect big things from. Otherwise, I reckon we have a few waiting in the wings there, looking around for his spot. And so I think Madge, depending on his effort on the off-season, I think Madge may give him that benefit of the doubt. Otherwise, we've got some young guns on the development side there that will come up and quickly take it. So, and then the other one I have is Brendan Piacora. So obviously that means that people like Benjamin Decora, Martin Tapua and all that miss out. And that alone shows that we do have a fair bit of depth there. But I can't make sense of why Brendan's not in the team. And if he doesn't make that first team this Tuesday, well then I'm sold there's an issue with Brendan attitude-wise or something like that, because you don't have that much talent and then drop out of the side. So I've got him there purely for that reason. How do you lads have your bench? I'll go Langers, mate. What do you got?
Yeah, like Billy Walters will be 14 if Corey goes 9, which I think he'll go 9. Now, look, if you've listened in the past, you know that I am not the biggest fan of Billy Walters. I rank him about as highly as a short dropout, to be honest with you. But where credit is due, credit shall be given. And yeah, like I think he did really well in the preseason. So, especially at 6, I think he did really, really well. So yeah, putting him in the 14 as a sort of utility sort of player isn't the worst shout at all. It's not the worst plan. I think it's actually pretty good. He can cover a few different positions, for injuries and blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, having him as a 14, I'm happy with that. Corey Jensen, 15. Yep, I agree with what you said, Brito. Big X at 16. Yeah, I also have a big soft spot for the big fella, so hopefully he can, absolutely rip and tear this year. Regarding your Brendan Piakura, the 17, I feel like, for me, I've got a soft spot for Big Marty. I feel like I just love that man, and I want him in the team. I would think maybe if Jack or Brendan, whoever gets that 12, the other person will probably sit out, hopefully. And then, Big Marty can take the 17. I think Ben Takura being 18 isn't the worst thing because he's a young fella. He can ride the pine and just take the experience in that way for another few games or another season if need be. Everybody, I think, that has seen the work that Big Ben has done is impressed with it and likes what he can do, especially from 5 meters out with a full head of steam. I think that's a very dangerous sort of combination for us to have in our sort of belt, I guess. But no, I would love to see Big Marty, fill up that bench at some sort of point, some sort of capacity. Like we've said countless times, Starbreds, this is a really good headache for Madge to have to try to pick, your top 17, 18 players. It's shaping up to be a really good fucking team, and it's nearly our competition to lose. When you look at this team on paper, and you see how the trial goes, and I know a lot of people say trials don't mean shit, but it's a good insight to see how your players are playing individually, how your team is, conducing as a team, and from what we've all seen, I don't think there's too many negatives that people can sort of pick apart yet. So it's a headache for Madge to have, but it's a good headache to have. So hopefully he makes the right decision, and we'll find out on Tuesday.
Yeah, no, good chat there. Ringer, mate, what's your bench look like?
Mate, this is an absolute shit show, the amount of crossing out and putting back in and writing down and crossing out that I did to John. But what I eventually rested on, mate, was my round 1. Okay, we're just going to go round 1. That's the only way we can sort of play it at the minute because it's too fucking hard when you see the amount of players that miss out on this bench that we'll go through in a second. But I've got 14 Walters. I think he done plenty in the trials. Even if they're going to give Corey Pakes 10 minutes either side halftime or something, Billy looked really, really good, really, and Madge isn't going to let him get away with that stupid shit he was doing, with the kicking for no fucking reason or stupid offloads or scooting when there was, a backline set and all that sort of bullshit. Big X, Willison, he's on my bench too. I think he's just a prodigious talent. Probably going to be one of the best props in the game by the time he's 10 years over. Corey Jensen, obviously, he's probably, at the moment, if someone said he was one of the top 5 props in the game, I wouldn't argue with him because from last year's form, he carried our forward pack when he was probably the smallest name, if that's, I know it's not fair, but, he's not a big name player like Paddy or Payne, and he was one of I think he was our best forward last year. And for round 1, mate, I've got to go Marty to power. Post-contact me to King. Just because I don't know just for round 1, I don't know what either, like you said, it's either going to be Jack or Brendan for that edge spot. I don't know what either of them would do on the bench. I don't know if they're middle players. So, just to make sure that we're not overworking Paddy and Payne early in the season by running the legs out of them. I want a more solid rotation around that middle so everyone gets a break. But then, like, 18th man, right? This is just a little list I've compiled of who could be, like, this bench, it's a great sign for a footy club that's on the rise. All of our benches could be fucking completely wrong, and you wouldn't even be that angry, right?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
if Billy Walters wanted in there, Tyson Smoothie was one of our best players at the end of last year. You've got Bentakura sitting there, who is one of the most bloody physical freaks in the whole game. And that leaves you Piakura still sitting there somewhere for my bench. That Hunt, the other second rower, Karapani, Israel Leota. You've got Ezra Mem and Blake Moser coming back later, and Tony Staggs isn't in this run-on team for round one. So, throw a dart at the wall and pick your 18th man. It'll all depend on the opposition, I reckon. But I think it's a great problem to have.
Yep. No, 100%. And I am, like I said in our season preview, I'm genuinely excited about the start of this season. Usually I start the season with a bit of doubt, like, oh no, are we going to go well? Did we have a good season? Are we gelling? I'm 100 on the limiter, and we're just going crashing into these Roosters Thursday night. And I'm fucking there for a 13 plus. Let's go.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. Now, we are conscious of time, Thoroughbreds. We have taken up a fair bit of your listening at the moment. So what we'll do is we're going to listen to the Gronk now, because he's ever wise with his questions and his thought process. The preview of the Roosters game, we're not really going to do much because it is round one. There's really not much to go on. The Roosters had a shocking trial. We'll call it as it is. If trials don't mean much, thank God, because the Roosters didn't get anything out of it. In fact, I think they went backwards, to be honest.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't looking good. And my hot take for Robbo getting the sack by the end of the year is firming into a bit of a favourite. And then we'll do a bit of tipping and whatnot. So, without further ado, here is the Gronk.
Righto, boys. Calm before the storm. All of us non-Vegas participants are just fucking hoping and praying that there's no major injuries in this last week before the season starts proper. And so really there's not much to talk about, but one thing that I want to raise, or whatever, I've said it before in the group chat, and I'll say it again, and I think it's been justified by the Raiders pummeling of the Warriors in that first game in Vegas. Xavier Savage has to be in the conversation for the Queensland winger spot. Now, I know we're pretty stacked there. We've got 3 outstanding options already between Coates, Cobbo and Murray Tuolungi, but look, I reckon he's got to be in the conversation as well. I reckon Ricky's honed him down. He's fucking eliminated a lot of that glitter footy that he started with, and he's sort of just turned him into a fucking typical Canberra dog. He just puts his head down and fucking goes hard. So, what are your thoughts? Normal service next week. Goodbye.
100%. I was only thinking that today, and I know it's only one game and all that, and then we need to see a little bit more consistency, which has always been Savage's biggest downfall, but he looks fucking big, jacked, and when he took that intercept, there was not a fucking cunt getting near him. So, he looks really good. I think, and what's wrong with having fucking 6 wingers to pick from for Origin? Like, New South Wales have had that their whole life, so I'm all for it. Yeah, I really like what I've seen today from Xavier. I just hope he continues it because, he's always had that potential, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's it. It does excite me. Like before, like he was right when he was doing that silly shit. You're not in the conversation, mate. Like we can't risk it, sort of thing at that level. Now that he's honed that craft and he seems to be Mr. Reliable out there on that edge, and they obviously, focus a lot of play around him as well. So, Yeah, I reckon it's a great shout. I'd love to see him in an Origin jersey, but who makes way? I don't know. Great depth to have in case of injury or suspension. So yeah, good on him. Langers, what are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I think it's a great shout, to be honest. Yeah, I can't disagree with the Gronk. I don't think I ever have, to be honest. Yeah, the man spits facts whether you want to hear them or not. No, it's good. It's good for Queensland to have another option. Yeah, I do think we probably do need to see a little bit more from Xavier just to sort of see if he is up to that standard of, your coach, your Cobbos, your whatnots. So yeah, no, it's a good shout, and hopefully he does kill it until the Raiders have to play the Broncos, and then he just goes to shit.
Yep, good job. All right, we'll move on. Bit of tipping, small bit of accountability with the games. I'll put my hand up and say that I've absolutely fucking dropped the ball. 2 games, 2 X's. So that's really great of me. Ringer though, perfect so far. Couldn't overlook the back to back guys. And then you nailed the Raiders.
Unfortunately, in a bloody tipping comp, those 2 tips were the only ones that didn't stick, apparently. So I don't know what the fuck happened there. I refreshed that thing 400 times and I sure I had them right. And then I went into them after they won to go in a screenshot and take a big fucking W. And they were both wrong. It said, you did not enter your tips. I was like, oh, get. Anyway, but that's okay. I'll catch them up. But I'm glad it was recorded on the podcast that's what I was tipping.
I'll catch him up, he reckons.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
around.
Oh, yeah.
He
will. He'll run me down.
Prepare yourself for an absolute bed shit for the rest of the round. Just prepare yourself for the biggest bed shit. If the Broncos get up, mate, and I lose the rest of the tips, I don't give a shit. But, yeah.
Righto. Langers, you are 1 apiece, mate. 1 tick, 1 X. Sitting there with the Gronk, actually.
Yep. I was hoping the Sharks might have had a little bit of a comeback. They were sort of looking like it, and then Braden Trindle just decided to fucking run on the last and just ran nowhere, and that was sort of their last sort of chance. And I think if they got over then, that would have been a very different fucking story, and we would have been sitting here going, fuck the Panthers. I'm still doing it, fuck the Panthers, but yeah, it'll be in a different light, and I would have 2 ticks next to me name, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, and get on with the rest of the tips.
After that revelation from Ringer, you and Gronk are tied for the lead by the sounds of it. So,
sounds good to me.
Righto. The Gronk has just within the last 5 minutes sent his tips in, which was ever so grateful of him. I will do my tips now, and I'll throw it over the Ringer while I have a look at the Gronk. But I am going Broncos. I am going the Knights. I had it the other way, but I think I'll go to the Knights. Dolphins, Bulldogs, Sea Eagles, and the Storm round out my round 1 tipping. Ringer, mate, what do you got?
Much the same, mate. Tossing up, obviously not the Bronx, so we're obviously going the Broncos. 13-24 plus over the Roosters, going off trial form. Same with the Knights, mate. I wasn't real high on them, but they look good in the trials. They look ready. So I'm going the Knights. I'm going the Dollies. They look fit as fuck. And this is probably the one time Wayne might lose because he hasn't got any of his stars to his apprentice. That's the only reason I'm doing that. Bulldogs, I think, in times look good against us. Dragons looked all right, don't worry. So that's my toss-up game. I've actually gone the Cows against the Seagulls just because of their form and how they turned it around against Melbourne in that trial and how they look. Typical Cowboys, I'll probably get beat by 60 now that I've tipped them, but, that's how the cookie crumbles. And obviously going the Storm, mate, I think they keep their first round record very strong.
Yeah, true that. All right. Langers, what's yours, mate? What do you got?
Mine are the exact same as yours, Brito. So I've gone the Broncos. Yeah, the Knights and the Tigers, that was my sort of toss-up game, but I think I want to see the new Tigers a bit more before I'll commit to tipping them. I think the Knights the Knights, you sort of know what you're going to get. You got your Callum Ponga brilliance there. So, yep, I've gone the Knights. I've gone the Dollies as well. Because basically, you've got that Wayne Bennett factor there for the Bunnies this year, which is always going to be a bit of a head scratcher. But yeah, if it doesn't have his little star players there, then yeah, you're sort of going to go with the Dolphins, Bulldogs, Sea Eagles, Storm. That's me, mate.
Yeah, sweet. All right, I'll let you know the Gronks here, the closet Broncos supporter that he is. He's back to Broncos, smart man. No.
Yeah. Yeah, heavy Sea Eagles.
I'll quickly read out the rest of his tips then. Tigers, so he's gone the Tigers. He's gone the Finns, and he's gone Manly.
It's called
He has. But he's also gone Dragons. No, he's gone Dragons.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And he's gone the Storm, so he can't shy away from that first round record that Storm have as well. But yeah, not going up against the Cows.
So he's either going to smoke us or be languishing down the bottom with me.
Yeah. So we'll see how that works out. Check out Thursday Best Bets, Thoroughbreds for our best bets over the weekend. I think you'll find that our boy Langers is on an absolute fucking heater.
He's on a
Get around him, because this lad has taken you to fucking a mortgage-free life. The way that he's going. Responsibly, of course.
He's gone 13 plus into the women's bloody try scorers. Thank you very much.
Yep. See what he
Hopefully
comes
we can
up
just
with.
keep it going, Thoroughbreds.
That's it.
All good things must come to an end, though. Just remember that when you bet on.
Yeah. Footnote.
Yeah.
All right. That is us, Thoroughbreds, for this week. Send us your thoughts on what happened over the weekend. How was Vegas? Did you go to Vegas? Let us know if there was a thoroughbred in the wild in Vegas and what you got up to. Don't let it stay in Vegas. Let us know. If the tech gods are favourable, we should have expanded our reach over this last week. On top of being on Spotify and YouTube, we should now be on Amazon, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, to name a few. So if you're used to getting your podcast from somewhere else, go over there if it's your favourite one. See if we're there. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, all that sort of good stuff on there. If we're not on your platform that you prefer, reach out. Let us know. If you have to jump on the Spotify just to listen to us and you don't like doing it, we'll do our best to try and get over to where you are so it's easier for you. Head over to our social medias, though, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Give us a like, give us a comment there. Let us know your thoughts on what we're doing, how the Broncos are going to go, all of that good stuff. Bet responsibly. Tune in throughout the week for everything that we post, whether it's shit posting, bets, information on the Broncos, breaking news, all that sort of stuff. Be a contributor to society. Stay out of one another unless it's consensual, and we will gallop off into the week. Catch us later.
Thoroughbred.
Only a few days to go, Thoroughbreds, before we run out.
Keep the beer recommendations coming too. Love to see it.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Especially if you want to pay for it.
Yeah.
Not an ad, but it could be an ad.
It could be an ad. Potential ad.
Right, I see us. Bye.
That was absolute diabolical.